Okay. So this is basically a kōrero, looking for anything that you have to share. I've got a few questions that can guide us through, and we'll just start from the beginning. So if we can start with what's your name?
My name is Tori Mohi, aka Awa.
So Uncle, can you tell? So this is focused around Black Power and Waikato and whatever you want to share around that. But to begin with, can you talk a little bit about life before Black Power? Where did you grow up? Your mum, siblings, anything about that?
Brought up in Melville, Norwich Street. Right up to about 14. I'm the oldest son of 7. My 3 sisters, 4 brothers. Edna was the oldest. Em next, and then myself, and then my brother Rick, and then Colin, and or Tani, and then Anna, my sister, and Mike, the brother.
Yeah. When you say Norris Street, what was Melville? What year would we be looking at?
Oh, talking about probably around 70s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the neighbourhood like then?
Yeah. Yeah, it was our neighborhood was the marriage that we were there were pretty rugged. We're pretty rugged.
Okay. What schools did you go to?
Richmond Park. Richmond Park Primary, and then Melville Intermediate. By the time you get to high school, I went straight to the boys' home.
Boys' home?
Hamilton.
Was that in Melville?
Yeah.
Who was Kuro living in the whare too?
No, not then. Yeah, he split from my mum when we were about I don't know, probably about 11, 12. So we pretty much left our own device.
But from before 11 and 12, he was at home?
Yes, on and off.
Okay.
Yes.
So what was your kind of role within the whānau?
Well, just big brother, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had Auntie ever left then?
Yeah, and because Edna was staying in Auckland, and so was Rick. Rick didn't I didn't get to see him until he was about he was about 14, 15. I think he moved back to Hamilton. Yeah.
Did he know you before then?
Yeah, we used to have holidays, come down for holidays, and yeah, so look forward to those. And I miss my brother when he leaves, go back to Auckland. Yeah, so when he came back to stay, like I was over the moon.
Yeah. Did you ever go back to like the marae, which marae did you go back to? Did you? Or?
Yeah, we went on to all the maraes. We always had a really good what do you call it? A good standing with all the maraes. Yeah.
What about Kurowhati? What memories do you have of him?
Kurowhati, all I remember about him was how strong he was. You know? He'd come around and dig our back lawn up in one day and make a garden. He would have been 80, in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your best, some memorable memories of Nang?
Oh, man, many. What I remember about Mum was strong-headed woman. If she got something into her head, that was it. And I think it's the sort of thing that came back to the kids, like us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stubborn street.
So, is there anything else you want to speak about there? About
Yeah, it's just trying to remember things.
yeah. So I'll try to help John. What was Hamilton like around that time? What kind of
Hamilton,
yeah?
well,
Was there much Māori?
yeah. Probably about 15, well, I used to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worked in a few places. Mm.
Yeah. And so, we might come back to that, but I guess what we'll talk about now is like, so from there, childhood, like, how did you become involved with the Black Power?
With the Black Power?
Yeah.
Let's see. One of the defining moments for myself would have been when we had a fight with a couple of boxers, Rick and I. Yeah. And we won. So yeah, that's pretty much what got into our heads.
How old would you have been?
18 and 19.
Okay. So we're looking at the year.
Well, that would be about 78 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when Dad did move back to Hamilton, did he come by you? That's what I heard.
Yeah. Well, we got a flat together. Yeah. He
So,
had the car.
Oh, and you had the flat.
No, we had the flat.
Oh. So going back to the rumble with the mobsters,
Yeah.
and at that point were you blacks or were you just two brothers?
Yeah, just two brothers.
So how did the Black Power
Well, they were actually just kicking off in Hamilton. Yeah. He joined up and straight away he went to Sergeant Arms and I went to Vice Press.
Okay. Who was the press at the time?
Hooks. Full name Hooks.
So blacks was already established.
Well, not totally established.
So that would have been 70.
Yeah, 78.
Okay. And so you and Dad.
Yeah.
And joined up with others.
Yeah, we joined up with we were in that chapter first, the Hamilton Black Tower.
Yeah.
And then there was Black Tower Sunday. Yeah. In the end, became disillusioned with both lots and went their own way.
Okay. Well, I did hear that there was quite a few chapters.
Oh, three. There was two already.
Okay.
There's three. But it didn't take long, and then there was just one. And it's always been one.
So there was just kind of faded out away.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a corridor around. Is it Abe coming down?
Yeah.
How does that corridor go?
Well, because I was vice president with Abe Whariwaka, president of all the cities. Rick and I were in the cities, and I was vice president of all the cities at the time. And it was one of Abe's brothers. He had 8 brothers who were in the blacks. Choppy was the president of the Hamilton Cindy.
Okay.
And well, we had I had a fall out with their father, and I took over the chapter, and Abe came down to Hamilton to say that Choppy had to be the priest, and so gave them a miss, and we started to Waikato.
Just on your own instinct?
Yeah.
Just went away?
Yeah.
Was Choppy and them from here or Auckland?
They're from Auckland, or pretty much his, but his wife was from, was it out of Martin? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pillars, yeah.
Yeah. Is that Jerry and them?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's how it began. Waikato.
Yes, yeah.
Big Power.
In 79.
1979.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Cool. Cool. We have a starting point.
Yeah.
Alright. And so how many members did you have at that time?
Well,
Or who did you take someone
what had happened was, we were actually at the pub and the two chapters were there, the Black Tower, Hamilton, and Waikato, and Cindy's, and we get it right. This line, and that line. So three lines, and who do you want to be with? And then just that everybody jumped in behind us. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you feel about making that move? Did you feel,
Yeah.
were you a little bit like weary, like it just felt right?
No, yeah. Yeah. Because
where was your mama coming from to make that decision?
I guess it was my own mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, the bro had a say in the matter as well. Black, and yeah, there was a couple other boys, you know, that reckoned that was the way to go. And yeah,
So
turns out it was.
All right. Okay. So in 1979, and how many members?
I don't know, probably about 20, 30 odd. Yeah.
Can you name some of the like farmers?
Some of the farmers.
Yeah.
Well, there was the Marficat brothers, Bears, Mop, Jules. Then there was the Andersons, Wadu, Penny, about three more of those brothers. Then there was the Johnsons, Mitta, Johnny, yeah, who else? Oh, yeah, a few others. But
Yeah. So you got quite a lot of the brothers in there.
yeah. And I think that had a lot to do with why we were so tight, because it was family oriented. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we touch a little bit on, maybe we fast forwarding it, but the
Yeah.
Johnson Memorial Trust?
Yeah. Well, through that, and then it was,
So why was it established? What happened?
yeah, one of the brothers fucking got killed, killed in a fight.
What year about was this?
Yeah, that's right, back then.
80s?
Yeah, it must have been something, might have been later than 88.
Okay.
Yeah, might have been closer to mid 80s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Was that a run-in with the mob?
yeah.
So from there he passed away.
Yeah.
Did you take him back to?
We went to New Steve.
Okay. And he was one of the Johnson brothers.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Robert.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob.
So there would have still been Mitta, Johnny.
Yeah.
Mitta and Johnny?
Mitta, Johnny, and Jimmy.
Okay. Was that like the first kind of death of a member?
Right. I think so. Yeah. There's been heaps of the past.
Yeah. And so from that established
Yeah, I trust him. We ended up, we got work trust settlement. Got us a pad. Yeah.
did you see the pictures?
No, I haven't had a look.
Oh, because it's got one of the pads in there, I think the West Street one.
Yeah.
From the documentaries, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's great. So what was your guys' first pair? Can you remember?
Yeah. We had one down the Kalani Road. We turned a few houses into beds.
Yeah.
Trapper. Well, I say that West Street was probably the best.
Yeah. It's a cool setup, eh?
Yeah,
So,
I sort of got a whole house of pads because, doing the same old thing.
yeah.
Yeah. That's why we can end up getting into another one.
Like what, maintaining it?
Right?
Just maintaining it.
Well, maintaining, just seeing everybody
Every day. So how old were you when you were patched?
I would have to say, but 18 going on 19.
Okay. Yeah. And Dad?
Yeah, worked beside me. He was just a year younger.
Okay. So he just followed you. Followed
Yeah.
his big brother. Because
Yeah.
that's what I heard. As soon as his name died, he went
Yeah.
looking for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think are the key values of Waikato chapter?
Well, I like to think, just integrity. Just do things with, everyone doing things with agendas. And, uh, I don't like it.
Yeah. So,
And be able to work. I know for the younger ones, it's not as easy. It took us years to get it. So I don't expect them to get it overnight, but I expect them to at least try.
to be men of their word.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you link into the wider Black Nation? Or,
Yeah, well, a lot of it, because back in the day, our chapter was known as pretty out the gate, you know. They used to see us rocking up in Auckland or something, and there'd be, we get up there, there's hundreds of them up there, and we just cruising, and all back in these days, cunts again.
yeah.
But, nobody ever said anything about it.
Was it a plan for Waikato to be a part of the national thing, or did Waikato just determine to stay on their own?
I always felt that I can put my hand up to anybody from here, but I can't really do that for anywhere else. You know? And, I don't know if the rest want to go that way, or so be it. But that's my own personal views.
So just Waikato.
Yeah, that's always been Waikato as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
What do you? No.
That's something that I'll instill in the boys as well. It's not just black power, but Waikato, because much money comes from Waikato, and people such as your dad and Black and many other brothers in the past have made our name really good.
It's got quite a reputation, I
Yeah,
must say.
it does.
So I was actually, I ended up over in Ruatoki with TK, and we were at Podge's house.
Yeah.
And as soon as they knew that,
Yeah.
it was like Tyrone. So I met
Yeah.
Podge.
Yeah.
So that was a I'm
Yeah.
like, oh. So there was a kid, he was telling us that he used to party in the shed at the back.
Yeah.
So I think it was a convention there, right? Did you go? Did you
Uh,
break that one?
Oh no, but we've been down there a few times for puts.
Yeah.
They're just like us too. Them bakers.
Yeah. Because I see there's a close connection there with like Tokoro,
Yeah.
Rotorua, and Waikato, is it?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I just always known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I used to go back in the day. If one lot was having strife with another gang, they just call up and everybody will fucking amalgamate. Yeah.
Do you think that's still happening now?
No. Yeah. You should be able to look out they can look after your own fucking health.
Do you feel like that's getting, nowadays it's getting a bit harder to do that?
Mm-hmm. I don't think if you're talking in-house.
Yeah. So what are some like memories that you have of the chapter that are like stand out for you over the years?
Oh man, they're so fucking memorable. I mean, being with the police, and they turn up with paddy wagons, and they've all got their shields and their batons, and they're doing that marching thing, and then because we're having a social in Canberra,
Yeah.
and they stomp, and by the time they get around the back, and he's all of us there with batons.
So rumble with the cops.
No, they didn't want any part of it.
Oh, okay. They backed up.
No, I've backed them off quite a few times.
Yeah.
Done some, and oh, I've been in, I couldn't count them. The rumbles we've had with other gangs.
There's like I remember Dad telling me that I've got the distribution.
Yeah.
Many times he said we were always outnumbered.
Yeah. He will, like we'd be in a tight situation, and he'd make it even tighter. After I just got talk their way out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard. One second.
I think, rightly, he gave out more hidings than he received.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he Anyway.
See, the thing is that too it's not about having somebody you can really quite stand beside you. It's somebody that's no matter what, will stand beside you. Yeah.
So how?
Like I remember one bro fucking he used to get fucking knocked out just about every fucking incident. And on one occasion knocked himself out by tripping over.
Do you think, that in terms of Waikato, you kind of fought those battles? Or do you think there's more to come? But do you feel?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think that it's maybe another direction. But in saying that, I've always believed that we have to have a budget front line.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? Good to go as far as if we need to be doing it on the streets or whatever, and not shy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, would you say that defines Waikato chapters? Do you have a?
Well, yeah, I expect everyone to be good together,
All right.
and that's just normal stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen
a lot more money getting around, that's for sure. Um, um, and going for a more tidier look, I suppose. Yeah, that's all good. And talking with some of the younger ones about housing for everyone, and employment,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
And I guess because you had that with, the Muldoon
Yeah,
government when they did the working scheme. So,
that's, yeah, hadn't really sunk it in. All that money I felt was guilt money that threw over, so we just splashed it. Yeah, but to make our own money would be where it's at,
yeah,
and not have to worry about the government departments wanting to look at your books and all that rubbish and see how you're getting on.
so just,
And,
te nora e te ranga, that's it, like
yeah,
get on your own money.
yeah,
Yeah. So just, I just want to go back to the boys' homes, because I don't know if you've heard about the inquiries that they're doing.
no,
This is, which boys' home? Just Hamilton?
no, Hamilton boys. Then I went to Koikere. That's for that was for boys 14 to 15.
Where was that one?
In 11.
Oh, yeah. Is it by Hookio
Yeah.
Beach? Yeah.
That's where the younger ones went to Hookio Beach. Yeah.
So they said, those what they're finding out what's being revealed about there is just lots of abuse and that
Yeah,
happening in
yeah,
those spaces. Did you
Mm,
they just said there's lots of bullying and stuff?
yeah. Yeah, nah. No, not sexual abuse anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Why did they send you so far away? Like, how long were you land in there?
Yeah, I think I was in there for about oh, might have been about a year, I think.
Was it longer?
Yeah, I ran away from there 3 times.
Yeah. And oh, so you could run away.
Yeah,
And they'll take you back. So what was your first time associated with law?
with the law. Well, that goes back to before the war thing. Um, oh, um, yeah, going up for 17 stolen motorbikes. Yeah, how old was I then? Yeah, can't have been more than 12, 13, maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can you tell me about these cars that used to go in the river?
No, that's the bikes.
Oh, what's the bike?
Yeah,
I think they're in a roof
yeah,
though,
yeah.
Not mine, son.
Yeah. Yeah, son, you didn't do that, did you, son? No.
She can't.
I
She
thought
was
so.
argue with the police officer. No, my
Yeah.
son's not doing
He's not here, he's gone to Australia.
that. Did you spend much time with Little Richard
Um, Later on, yeah, I used to go up and see him up in Auckland, where he's staying.
though?
That's
But
why
growing up.
I sort of felt when he passed away, because he had asked if he could come and stay with me when I was staying over in Kings.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I'm a bit busy now, right now.
Mm.
And then when Uncle Mickey told me about him passing away, I was and that's when I asked Uncle if I could, Uncle, do you think I could take Dad for a ride, take him for a cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. And so I had the boys following me for
Yeah.
it was a cool cruise, off the clocks, from
So
Hamilton to,
I remember that.
yeah, yeah,
Was he around much when you grew up,
not really, not,
or as much as you would have liked?
no, well, yeah,
Did you go back much to Makamako?
um, yeah, a few times when we were kids, when we were really small, um, that's why I was quite blown away when we went back there and I hadn't seen that family, whānau for years and years, and they were calling us by our first names. Yeah, that was really something. No, it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always thought, we always thought that Dad grew up with Nana Rose and with you.
Yeah.
It wasn't until
No.
later.
Yeah. He was with Danny Puneke.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I always just know he's grown up, but he's all grown up. That
Yeah.
wasn't until later.
Yeah. And because when she got older, she went to stay with Uncle Ben and Auntie Nancy, and that's who Ella stayed with them and Nan.
Yeah, and so just the years before Dad passed,
Yeah.
I was starting to get into the mother stuff. So I started talking to him about that, and
Yeah.
that's when I learned a little bit about, oh, okay. And through the interviews was when I asked him like, who like nurtured you and he said Nanny.
Yeah.
So, and the decision to take him back then was to take him back by her.
Yeah.
But that resonated throughout like Auntie and
Yeah.
Auntie and
Yeah.
they just said, so it was kind of like she must have been the nanny. Apparently she used to take me to the park, like things like that. So, and like, I said, when you think about love, who was it? And it was Nanny now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the decision why you went back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so what kind of like legacy do you want to leave for the chapter now?
Waikato. I'd just like them to maintain um, the things that I never tire of preaching to them. You know, be strong. Um, yeah, and do things with integrity.
So, because there's been like.
And family. And family.
What do you think about that whānau concept that I used to
Yeah,
learn?
you know, that's a good concept.
Just to take that one back, so going back to like prison, where I was swimming, so you've done quite a few legs, eh?
Yeah.
So what's your...
One or two.
Yeah, so but it's been a while,
Yeah.
so that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I
prison
had.
a part of... How did that fit into it? Was it just a...
Yeah, I was probably one of the only ones who believed that to be a gangster, a real gangster, part of that is to go to jail and experience jail where everybody hates you and come out and see if you still want to be there. Yeah, but it's it's a learning curve.
So how do you feel then, like, because lots of members at like other spaces are talking about, jails and the way,
Yeah.
how does that work in with that book?
Well, because so they won't ever let won't let the thought of jail get in the way of what they know they should do. Yeah, not ducking and diving because they're afraid to go to jail. Ducking the obligations.
And so as part of Black Power Waikato future,
Well,
just being,
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows after I'm gone where it goes to from there? They might decide they don't need that. It's, when I say go to jail, it's mainly so that we have a front line. Because without a front line, you're nothing. You're a Lions Club or something.
beautiful. So just in terms of the final question is like, how do we keep our whānau safe, and, within the spaces? What is something you
Um,
feel?
oh, yeah. I always like to have wherever I live, a nice, a safe environment,
Yeah.
and that's in the area that I'm in. Um, like if I hear about people going around ripping off houses and stuff around the place, I'll track them down and sort them. I mean, there's nothing like having a home where you can leave the door open or just leave things lying around on your front lawn because that's your front lawn or back lawn, and yeah, I look after the neighbours as well.
That's just a little bit about what this project's about, Uncle, and yeah, and try and get a real grasp on the history. When did the chapter start? How did it start? And etc. etc. So we'll just rock straight into the first partai, and basically, can you just tell me a little bit about how like life for you before the blacks? How did you grow up,
Okay.
etc. Yeah.
Um, my upbringing would have been worse than most of our members. I've never really delved into my past, but it was a lot worse when I was growing up than what it was before I joined the club.
Okay.
What do you call it? More physical abuse than anything else in the house. I was brought up with 9 younger sisters.
Yeah.
I ended up taking the load for most of my little sisters. I think until I left home, about 13, I suppose. But yeah, not a horrific bringing up, but not the best.
All right.
Not the best.
What kind of like environment was it? Rural or city?
Rural.
Rural. Okay.
Well, I was a country boy,
Oh yeah.
a young boy from Detroit. That was me. I think I was the worst that came out of there so far.
Okay.
As far as today.
Yeah.
Nobody else back home has ever been in the ship. They all become policemen and up in corrections. That's
Yeah.
my family back home. Or the church right now.
Oh yeah.
I was never into more not understanding it when I was young.
Yeah.
Pretty much hard to understand now. Right now, given my choice, but I was a choice they were christened under.
Oh, so you're christened right?
Yeah.
That's
We had no say in when we were christened.
Okay.
We were kids, babies. And so there was not alcohol, was our parents.
Did you use like school or anything out there?
I went to Deepwood Primary School, Matamata Intermediate. Then I was put into childcare, state ward.
Yeah.
From 13 to 16. I did that in a foster home, away from my parents.
Mm.
I was put into, they call it, welfare. I was put into the welfare then. My choice.
Mm.
I had a choice of going home or going to the boys' home. Well, I only had sisters at home. There was nothing for me to go home to. So I took the other option. And I went to state ward. So yeah, it was my choice. They asked me.
Okay.
And I asked to go to the boys' home instead.
Do you know what year we're looking at?
Yep, I think we're looking at 73.
Mm.
73, might have been 72 when I went to the boys' home.
Yeah.
I was doing both by the time 75.
Do you know any of the names of the places you went?
Hamilton Boys Home.
Yeah. Was that Collins Road?
No,
Oh.
this is in Mount View.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mount View Road, Melville.
Yeah.
From there I went up to Koetiri. Went down to Koetiri.
Yeah.
I was in there for a month, I think, and I got brought back here.
Okay.
They found me a family
Here in.
in T-Rail.
Oh. Who were they?
They were Luscombe's, Ian Luscombe. He was a Dutchman. He'd taken in a few of the boys from State Ward, boys' homes. He had a farm. So I was pretty much brought up on the farm from 13 to 17, I suppose, 16, 17. Maybe about 3 years.
What kind of mahi were you doing?
Everything on a dairy farm. Not not a dry, not a stock farm, dairy, milk cows,
Mm.
do all the basics, fencing.
Okay.
It was good upbringing,
Yeah.
settling.
When did you end up reconnecting back with your whānau?
These 2.5 years later, I was allowed to go home for a day, which was only over the road.
Yeah, yeah.
I had pretty much access to them all the time I was on the farm. But I chose to stay on the farm until I was ready to go back to the old lady and
Okay.
them.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to share about that
Um,
time? What was the time like? Like, we're looking 1973. What was New Zealand like then? Like,
when I was in the boys' home or back in those days.
in those days?
In those days, you could pretty much guess who was going to be the gangsters, and 10 years later,
Okay.
10 years time, you could see who was going to be the gangsters in there. They just stood apart. They were the ones that weren't getting taught anything in there. They didn't want to know anything in there,
No.
but we knew it all.
And so they say, like, they're doing that historic abuse cases to do with the homes, and they're, uncovering lots of abuse that happened, physical, but also sexual abuse in those spaces.
Yep.
Yeah, what's your thoughts around some of that?
Well, I know a lot of it was true. As far as the physical,
Yeah.
I don't know about the sexual.
Okay.
I don't know if any of that might have been happening between the guys themselves.
Okay.
But I never ever seen it happen with a guy in the part of
The guard.
institution.
Yeah.
A lot of it might have been just in their minds. But physical, yeah, that happened quite a bit. Not just from the ones working there, but the ones that lived there with you.
Yeah. Yep.
Bullying, a lot of bullying. I suppose I contributed a bit to that. But it was about getting your credits.
Okay.
Us back then was about getting credits. And the ones that got those credits back in the day are the gang members, the old school gang members you hear about today.
Okay.
Lee Kelly and that was our time. And Torrin was anything young.
Because you're a bit older, eh?
I'm only 18 months, eh?
Oh, from Mike.
Less than 18 months older than Torrin.
Okay.
Because he'll be
But we had
63
different,
this year, eh?
yeah, all Torrin's mates that were in jail with him are the likes of when he goes with Casino, Mike Boone.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the ones that Torrin was in jail with. They were too young for me,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll just quickly. Were you linked into the marae and the hapu and all that at home? Were you at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Didn't your mum and them used to go to the marae and take you?
Yeah, well, that was it. Just how we got up there was through our parents.
Okay.
We had a big bell. You could hear it.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Well, is
all
that
the-
the Ratana? Did that
Yeah.
come through the? Interesting, because Ratana's all the way, down in Whanganui that it come here.
Yep, it's not just here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Chalmika was another one of the main churches. Chalmika. Yeah, pretty
So
much.
did you have to sit in the karaoke's and all that?
Yep.
Jazz, like?
But you go in there, we did the choiring, we did the choir. I suppose everything the kids did.
Can you understand that, Il?
I can understand it. You give me a verse in it and I'll tell you what you're talking about. Only if I
Okay.
hear something in that verse that I know what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Because was your mum and them, did they
yeah,
support
yeah,
it all?
both of them.
Yeah, they're hard out.
Both of them, they could go English, back into Māori, back into English.
But did they teach you?
No, that wasn't our
Wasn't the
teacher.
thing. Oh. Yeah.
Listening. But they never went out of their way to sit us down and tell us what this meant and what that meant. We just picked it up by ear.
And so that, just touching on a few other things, skills that I see, like you do, you've always done gardening, the earling, and so did those skills come from your upbringing?
They come through boredom at home.
Yeah.
I mean, my sister, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
So me, I was 10. So me and the younger cousins, then we just grab our fucking gaps and torch and all our father's cigarettes
Yeah.
and fuck off down to the river. And that's how we spent our nightlife.
Yeah.
No dances.
No discos, eh?
Chalmika had their own.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Chalmika, Ronnie Smith, he was actually from Wanganui and Ratana down there. They're very strong in their reo and in their waiata.
Yeah.
And that's what we did back here. They're still doing it today. Still doing it today.
Yeah.
Taking in all the troubled kids.
He's all
Yeah.
hard out
And
right
they all
now.
up to Jamaica, and to learn the music, you've got to learn to read it. You can't just pick the guitar up and play rhythm to your mate.
Yeah.
You've got to learn the chords on it. Otherwise you didn't make it. Easy as that.
Okay, let's move forward then to the next
Okay.
question. So how did you become involved with Black Power?
Black Power. I had no intentions of joining the Black Power when I got out of Borstal.
Yep.
My intentions were to go with the Headhunters.
Okay.
I had Wynyard's address. He was running the head at the time. He was in Borstal with us. He was older than us. He wasn't doing Borstal, he was doing imprisonment.
Yep.
But I was on the trucks with Wynyard down and I. And he gave me his address to call in when I got out. He goes, "Oh, so when you get out, come and see me, Penny Park Prison." And Glen Innes. So when I got out of jail, I went to Auckland. I had no intentions of getting through to him straight away. I had other things to do.
Mm.
By the time I saw Wynyard again, I was prospecting for the Auckland Book. But he was down with it. There was no problem back in the day. Then I just fucking ran into Knockerson and met Knockerson before I reconnected with Edna and I ended up staying with Knockerson.
So are we talking about Borstal? How old
Borstal.
coming out of there?
When I got out of Borstal, I was 17, 18.
Yeah. And then from there you went to Auckland.
Yep.
What was it like going from rural, or because your upbringing into the city, or had you had experience being in cities?
I've been in Auckland before.
Yeah.
I'd stayed in Manurewa with an uncle, but I'd never been up here by myself. I never went to any of my relations when I got out of Borstal. I went to this job in Riverhead, where I had a job and a batch side accommodation and a job.
What was the mahi?
Timber mill. I was working in a mill, kind of merchant out of
Okay.
Riverhead.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm hearing, what year did you connect with Knockers then?
It would have been 76.
Okay.
It would have been just before the mermaid started.
Yeah.
77.
Okay, so how did that go, that connection?
That connection. I was going with a girl up there. She stayed in Manurewa and I stayed in Henderson. And just this one day I had to go pick her up, her and her baby, and bring her into Henderson with me. I had my uncle's truck. I was working over that way at the hospital. Well, I went to pick her up and she wasn't there, and I was told that she was down at the Manukau pub. That's the waiting pub. So I trucked down there to get her. And she was drinking and leaving all these other guys.
Oh, lovely.
And who's these guys?
Yeah.
But yeah, I stayed in the pub there, and I was just watching her while I went over to grab her. And she ended up bringing Knuckles over with her to introduce him to me. And I found her they weren't too bad. They were just taking the guitar to the pub. None of them were working. None of them wanted to work. They were all happy.
Yeah.
So took my job in.
And joined.
Yeah, and then I started hanging out with Knuckles, and they got their first contract with Motep New Zealand, Western Springs, and I was asked to go on there. 11 of us. Yes, I went on working with them. And then, well, I don't know how myself I ended up staying with them. We all stayed in the same house.
So that was your first connection to the blacks?
Yep.
That
was my first connection.
What were they? Were they Black Power Auckland?
Just Black Power Auckland.
Okay.
They were the only Black Power Auckland.
Okay, the only club.
Only club.
Where did they, where was the region, like?
Otahu and Ponsonby.
Okay.
They stayed in Ponsonby at this Jaroa Nui Hospital.
Yeah.
I did all the drinking and whatnot. And Otahu.
Okay. And like, you know, when you were in the Borstal Lunks, was there a gang present in there?
No.
Or, okay, so you were just kind of like...
No, we were just all neutral.
Yeah.
All neutral in boys' home. Pretty much neutral with the Borstal.
Yeah.
There were all gang members in jail when I was doing Borstal. The mob and the blacks. Very seldom hear of them. Not as much as you hear them barking now.
Yeah.
There was never a time where there was more than maybe 3.
Was it more of a bikie gang thing back then?
No, yeah, I suppose it would have been. There would have been some crew in there that had connections to the bike clubs. We had connections in there to the 61s.
Okay.
but we were in 61s, and they would have been on same as the other guys in jail. They would have connections to some club. But it could have been that they were wicked. Might have been a cousin to the Tobies, Edmund. But they were MKs like Edmund.
Yeah. So where to next for you from Auckland? How does
Auckland,
Waikato fit in?
Waikato? Nah, I never went to Waikato.
Oh, okay.
But I got patched up in Auckland, and then something happened down here. I come down here, and then the Cindy's and
No, you got out of jail, eh?
Yeah.
Back then.
and I didn't bother going back to Auckland because there was no chapter here. We had a chapter here, but I was a halfway, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And the Cindy's,
Yeah, that's right.
and the Cindy's,
Hey,
over
buddy,
here,
what? Oh, not hey.
Toppy Pariwa.
So I understand here there was Black Power Hamilton and Black Power Cindy's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I came down here to join the Black Power Hamilton.
Who was Prez then?
You were.
No.
Oh, Toppy.
No.
Other side, eh?
Shit with Donna.
Puki.
Puki.
Puki was, yeah,
Puki.
that's right.
Puki Rua was our captain back then.
Okay. How much members?
Oh, we had a few.
Yeah,
We had
you.
a few.
Noel Williams.
Me, Black Willie, Willie Black, Barnapa.
Nana Boy.
Nana Boy was Cindy.
Oh.
Starsky,
Bird
Hutch.
Hole.
We had a few. Back in 12.
And so you did patch up with Knox and them, like you got the
Yeah,
Auckland
yeah, yeah,
patch.
yeah.
What year would that be,
It
now?
would have been 77 or
How old were you?
19.
Well, when you were 20, so
Well, I
that
thought we were in
was
Auckland.
78.
Was I still in Auckland?
Yeah, you were.
7 years.
77.
7 years I've been down.
You come here, 78.
78. Okay, so then we're in Hamilton. You did lag. You didn't go back to Auckland. You stayed
No,
here.
I stayed here.
Yeah.
And this one here, it's got a
Okay. Did you have patches in that for Hamilton? Oh yeah.
this one here, right now.
Oh yeah.
Those ones.
Yeah.
But then there comes a time we weren't getting any further than chopping them.
Yeah.
We weren't really getting any further than chopping them. And getting any
Because I think
further
Tyrone
than
was with them, eh? Then,
Yeah, Tyrone
with,
was.
with
Tyrone,
Chop.
Rick, Nana, Archie, Arthur.
They were all Sundays back then, yeah.
So Uncle talked about a time when they were with the Cindy's and there was Black Power Hamilton here too, and Choppy was the Prez and Uncle was the Vice.
Yep.
And he wanted to be the Prez.
Yep.
And then Abe come down and said, no, it's got to be Choppy.
Yep.
And can you remember that time?
Yep.
Because he's talked about being at a
Yep.
pub, and I was wondering which pub it was.
Hamilton.
Hamilton? Which pub was it?
The Hamilton.
Oh, the Hamilton.
Yeah,
Where was...
That's the 101 bar.
Yeah. Okay.
That is our main pub.
Okay. And there was a choice.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick up?
Oh, I just enjoyed the labels being slapping.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go into this Tuesday. Wake up all that shit you had to take from them, bro. All that shit and you're sitting in the fucking, sitting in the toilet.
Yeah.
Waiting for it all to blow over. Bro, we told me, bro, no, you're never in the fucking toilet. Hands around his knees, fucking cunt.
And my understanding is that's when Black Power Waikato was created.
Yeah, well, we
You
decided
did, you took
to
over.
change the clubs over and just all have one here, even the fucking bolts. They couldn't do anything with two of us here. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So now we just sort of just stick in. But a lot of them wanted to cruise, there was nothing happening here. Maybe we just fucking brought our club down to one shit, so we know who should be here and who shouldn't be here.
Okay.
The ones that shouldn't be, go.
Yeah.
Choppy was the first one.
Yeah.
He didn't actually fuck a papa from
Nah,
Waikato,
no,
eh?
he didn't. But it wasn't because of that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just all leadership, I suppose.
Okay.
Time should have been running it in the street of me. I got him mixed up on a prospect.
Hey.
Time. I'm very big against me. Jump on the bed, Wolf. He says, I'm not out for the boy. I'm running prospect. What?
Yeah.
Running prospect? Fuck off. I've been sticking out all the time telling me you're prospect. Should be packed up all the time.
So we're looking at 1979 as the establishment of Waikato.
Yeah, 79. Yeah, I'd say 78.
78.
78 is when we met, and
Yeah.
that was hard out.
Or we
Yeah,
moved,
Alice was
Waikato was in.
Okay.
It was bad at time.
Yeah.
When we was in. It was there to replace me later. Quite up. We lost a lot of good members.
Through that.
Yeah, through that and through other things, problems with the family.
Yeah.
None of our problem. We didn't have a sickness. None of us were sick back then.
All healthy.
Fucking gay, happy ass, yeah.
And Uncle also talked about, like, you know, there was brothers, like there was the Anderson brothers, the Johnson brothers.
Yep.
So kind of come in with a whānau dynamic,
Yep.
because
Yeah, it
there was
was.
lots of the bros.
Even though those Johnsons, they were no relations of ours,
Mm.
it was the backpack that brought us all together.
Yeah. The Matikas, like,
Yeah,
they come in as family,
Yep.
like brothers
Yep.
entered the chapters.
Oh,
family, neighbours.
It's like, yes, well, we all grew up together.
Melville Way, I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
No,
People, well, Uncle didn't really know them.
I didn't know them. I didn't know
Know
Moana.
them.
Okay.
Because Uncle was a family thing.
Yeah.
I met your grandfather before I met Tom.
Oh, Korowhati.
Trinidad.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I knew him in Auckland.
Koro Richard. Oh,
Richard.
okay. Don't tell me at the pub.
No, Mount Eden.
Oh, yeah.
Met him in Mount Eden. We used to have a lot of problems there with the mob. And I used to see the old man on the street and I was like, Roto, kia! And he looked at me and he goes, kia! And then we got up to the jail when I saw him in the mountain. I was like, look, kia! And he goes, kia ora! Good on now. You want to know me?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the kia.
Okay, sweet. So when did the first Waikato patch, do you know when that was created?
Yep. Jerry got a printer.
Okay.
Jerry got some printers, I think. Yeah, that's what I say. I think it was 78. But not long after that. Not Huntley. Pupkuda. Pupkuda wanted to use the fist. That was when Willie Black was here, so we gave Willie Black the patch to take back to Pupkuda, him and Hutch.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Willie wanted to go, but Hutch went deep.
Yeah, that's what.
And Hutch has only just died a couple of months ago.
Oh,
In Pupkuda.
oh yes, Auntie.
He just
Alan
passed
put
away.
that up.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Sorry.
so that was that one. For Willie Black, like, does he have a connection to movement as well?
Willie Black?
Or Bungie and them?
Nah.
Okay.
He
No.
was under Waikato,
He is under Waikato in Auckland.
because he used to go with Auntie Mara, though.
Okay.
Hey,
Where was Trucks? What was his?
That's for his younger brother.
Was he patched up or no?
Not here.
Oh, okay.
He had a chapter in Waihi.
Alright,
Black
cool.
Waihi.
Okay, so we at least we've got an establishment point for Waikato, which is 78, 79. And it sounds like it was this pub, the Hamilton,
Yeah.
where that was created. So,
It was, yeah, I know Simon was having a lot of problems with Chop.
Yeah.
I was having fucking problems with Chop. Back then. And he didn't like fighting.
okay, didn't want to front line.
Nah. Just give me a yo when I'm there. Yo, 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 yo.
Okay, so I guess, thinking back to them, what do you think were some of the key values of the chapter that you kind of, when you come together, what were your values?
I don't think we had too many values back then.
Yeah.
It was take what we can get, or take what we can get away with. I don't think we did anything real bad. Not to family anyway.
Mm.
But no, actually, we weren't doing anything bad. We were just doing what we were meant to be doing.
Pardon?
We were just doing what we were meant to be doing. Back in the day, we was just being gangsters. Fucking keeping everybody
That's
out of
right,
our
well-
pub, doing what was asked for, what was asked for today.
We ended up moving down to Wellington
We were doing that sort of thing back. That's the only thing I can
about
see us doing wrong back in the day, which wasn't much.
Mhm.
Not the skullduggery that's going down today.
Yeah.
Fucking your own members backdooring you.
Yeah.
There was none of that. None of that over there back then.
What do you think are some like really important memories when it comes to Waikato chapter that you see as like significant moments that define the chapter?
It's when we've been caught out in a disarray and our cook have taken to organise ourselves back into a winning form game. Not too many have been under pressure like me and Tyrone by ourselves. We've come to places where we've been like on our way somewhere down the line, and we've had to call into a motel or hotel, and somebody's gone down in there.
How does the leadership, like, how do you think how has the leadership run in Waikato?
How's it run in Waikato?
Because from like my perspective, I've always seen it as,
One voice?
well, I guess like you and Uncle, and then obviously because Dad's our dad, then we looked at him, like there was this partnership between you three, or is it two?
At the end of the day, there was Tyrone's word.
Yeah.
Tyrone's word, I'll do anything to support it. Same with Rick. If he said anything, I'll do anything to support his one. Because you've got to make them look good.
Yeah.
So that they make you look good.
Yeah.
And that was me and Rick's thing. You make me look good, bro, and I'll make you look good.
Yeah.
And it is. That's how it is.
But it was always just you three, that made those decisions.
Yeah, but they weren't the wrong ones.
No, yeah,
Maybe
no,
I
but
think it
good
was
decisions.
this thing about going to jail, they have to learn anything. I don't know if that's still there. Because jail itself has changed. And we're just giving them fucking the sheep.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be. Jail doesn't work anymore. It's not working for anybody else.
That yeah, that's because I was talking to Uncle Ty, and he he just he acknowledged his mentality is jail was a training ground.
Yep.
And wanting members to be able not be scared of going to jail, so that they know that when it's time to do what they got to do, they got to do it. But he said it may change in the future, and I just hearing that shift, that kōrero from you. Okay,
This is my
we've done some long legs, Uncle.
Yeah.
How much all up do you think you've done?
half my life.
Yeah.
I'll see. Hey,
Yeah.
would have been half my life I've done in jail.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to jail. It's not
Yeah.
it's not happening anymore.
So okay, so the future, like, what do you want to leave in the legacy for the chapter?
On leave behind what I've been telling them, how to get ahead on the club. I've even given my prospects a hint on how to get up that ladder, and that's to volunteer. Don't need to be told.
Keep moving. Okay. So the first question is, can you describe your experiences growing up in an urban setting, urban environment from the age of 12 to 19 years of age?
Urban setting in Auckland.
Yep. Between
Yeah, was
12 and 19 years.
multicultural.
Yep.
Living with and trying to be Māori in an Auckland city.
Yep.
With a lot of Pacific Island influence and not so much European.
Yep.
And trying to keep our own identity as being Māori and coming back to our home in Wharawhara and Kawhia.
Yep.
Yeah, part-time Māoris.
Yeah. And so, were there any like experiences? Like you just said, you mentioned trying to do all that. Like what some experiences?
Most of our my early schooling was mostly predominantly Pacific Island
Yeah.
families, the Māoris pretty much stick together.
Okay.
Pacific Islanders, because there was more than one sort of, but we grouped them all into one group as Pacific Islanders. Because
Okay.
they were like UANs, Tongans, Rarotongans, and Samoans.
Alright.
But we didn't see that side, we only saw that they were different because they were Islanders.
Yeah.
And the Europeans that did come to our school, they were just lost in dark places.
Okay. Cool. Want to add anything else to that, or are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Cool. The second question is, what are the most important values in your life today, and how much have they changed since your teenage years that we just mentioned?
That a lot of it isn't about race. It's about the individual as himself, and being family oriented, as well as recognising that we were Māoris first. And that sort of led me to being predominantly Māori, living in a European environment and trying to struggle and do the best we can.
Yeah. And do you feel those values that you just mentioned, being Māori and doing the best that you can in a European environment, do you think they're still the same today, and are they still your values? Are you still striving to do that?
Yeah, yep, always trying to be Māori first, with Māori ideals, as well as trying to live in the society in a European setting, and noticing the changes
Yeah.
due to a lot of Māori grievances that got looked at, and trying to see Māori and Europeans make Aotearoa sort of a place for all New Zealanders, not just one race.
Cool. All right.
I strive not to be a dumb Māori. I try to be accepted by Europeans as a New Zealander who has different ideals, but who can be able to be productive and multicultural, sensitive to everybody that lives in our country.
Nice. So, and following that through, the third question is, can you describe how you fit into Māori culture?
Because I can claim my roots back to my marae,
Yeah.
back to both my maraes, and I know my whānau, and I know the families that are heavily involved with our passage into being and identifying to that iwi or hapi. And because of those and our grassroots, I understand that where we come from and who we are.
Cool. Nice. Okay, so the question 4 is, so there's a theory that states that when Māori moved into the cities, and that would have been like Nan's era, the 1950s and 60s.
Yeah.
That once they moved into the cities, that we experienced a loss of culture.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that's a correct theory?
Yep, no, that is. That's why I said that we were part-time Māoris.
Okay.
So we came back to because our family moved from Mokomoko,
Yeah.
and Whalawhala moved from there, and I brought up with my auntie and uncle who lived in Auckland because there was jobs available, and they wanted to bring their children up in a different environment.
Yeah.
And I did understand the differences between moving away from our cultural roots to Auckland, where we were just another minority that felt like we were missing out on things because there wasn't really true family up there. There were just Māoris that were grouped as Māori because they were Māori,
Okay.
but not identifying with their actual hapus and meanings.
Alright, cool. So there's another concept, and this one was coined by the Native American Indians, and this one talks about patterns of emotional and mental wounding, and it transfers over a person's lifetime, and also down generations, by a group traumatic experience. So loss of culture, use it for example here. So what are your thoughts on that concept? Does that resonate, or is that so due to some sort of traumatic experience, it's incurred wounding to a person and also to the generations that follow?
I think, that could happen, but the journey is to go back and try and find your identity and your grassroots by acknowledging that you have family that are, and that they can connect you back to where you should be, or where you should be, or where you want to be.
Yeah.
So it's going back and finding your family and your true roots, and they will give you back your mana, they'll give you back your strength, because they'll tell you who and how you connect up to your
And so you feel that will assist with any of the wounding?
Yeah.
Just going back and finding
And
how you
having as long as you've had experience with your marae before and during the time you're actually growing up, you will find your roots, because you just will, because your cousins or your aunties or your uncles won't let you forget who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And number 6 is, can you describe any, was there any particular experience while you were growing up that was maybe difficult or traumatic, and that directly related to you being Māori and living in a urban setting? Do you have any experiences?
Being an adult and having to go back to your marae and catching up with your family for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's but to see your faces and to the acknowledgement of who you are, as it brings it back to you that but the experience is to be back in your own marae and being identified as who you are and where you come from and all your family, your genealogy. Yeah.
So would you
Good
say
times, bad times.
Would you say that in the urban setting or the urban environment, that was not having that was difficult? Is that what you're saying? Was that was particularly difficult for you, and it was only when you went back to the marae that it became?
Yeah, where they told you, this is your thing, this is your marae, and then you recognized it as something that's part of your life, that you and not being an outsider, being able to feel the family connections, because you lose a lot of that when you move away from your home, from your area, from your group, and you don't recognise or you don't identify because you don't have that much contact with your own people. And we have like funerals, weddings, social events, and so you're not too sure if you actually can fit or do fit.
Okay. So, in living in an urban setting, was there a sense, just picking up on what you were saying, was there a sense of being an outsider?
Yeah, there's a sense of being an outsider, alright, because just don't know your way around, or you recognize people and you can speak to them, but not as fluently as you would if you had been closer to them. I mean, being able to be a part of the hapu,
Yeah.
like growing and laughing, angry, and being and knowing your who you are, not yeah, that they're only guessing or they believe who you are is and in actual fact to actually know you, they had to be brought up with you to but they can generalise as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So they had sort of their own ideas.
yeah, how and what you are today.
Yeah. Ah. Okay.
And it's hard to try and not just be yourself.
Okay. Cool. So, and then the next question: to what extent do you consider yourself? So, how much do you consider yourself active in the Māori world and a Pākehā world?
Yep, no, I can live. I think I can live fluently in both worlds because I have acknowledged both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because I sort of heard that in the very first question when you were talking about being able to, understanding both or having that ability.
Yeah.
Cool. So in terms of the Māori world, how do you see yourself active in the Māori world?
Still learning and but learning and making and statements and participating as best as I can with the bit of knowledge I have, and whether it be right or wrong, I'll just maintain and keep going with what I believe until I've been proven wrong, and then I'll change and I'll adjust to what was right. And when I find out what is right, then I will carry on with and proceed like with the right of being who I am, Māori.
Well, I mean, when we talked about in question 3, can you describe how you fit into Māori culture? And you spoke about whakapapa and genealogy, and I guess when we say how active are you in a Māori world? Well, if the Māori world is whakapapa and genealogy, and you know that, so I guess you're active in that sense.
Yep, but you have a lot of elders speaking to you and relating to you exactly how and why you fit into, so you aren't really lost at all, because they give you that, and I think we all do it eventually because we know, because we've been told and we've been taught, so we pass on our knowledge to everyone that needs to be in the younger generation. And we pass the bit of knowledge that we have on it, and we all have something that we can pass on.
Cool. And so active in the Pākehā world. How would you see yourself active in the Pākehā world?
I think I don't believe that the Europeans are more intelligent than Māoris. I don't believe that most of their ideals are exactly the right ideals. I believe that Māori ideals are better installed, even if it looks as though we're at a loss. Our idealism towards each other and our family is very stronger than maybe having certain things that European families don't have, but when we're lost for something, we can always count on one another to offer and help with whatever we're missing out on, and a lot of what we're missing out on, a lot of what I think Europeans miss out on is connection to each other and to themselves, and that's where the Māori are stronger. And if you can live a life like that, then there is no loss in any of it. You know, like I don't mind not having everything as long as I have those things. I still feel like this is a complete life.
Cool. Okay. Want to add anything else?
And it's a nice day today.
Okay. Cool. And the last one, number 8. What vision do you hold for the whānau and for our future generations to come? What visions do you have for that?
To be able to strengthen our tamarikis, to be strong and to be able to nurture and nourish our children, and so that when we leave behind our legacy of strong and healthy trees.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, do you want to add anything else? We can go off the topic. Anything you want to add? If you have anything else you'd like to add.
That the seeds we sow are the seeds we nourish and nurture to be able to live in our lifetime strong, healthy trees that can be able to weather any storm in the near future.
Okay, ka whai. Cool. That's that.
Man.